feel with big time ideas. After all, you are entitled to Brad's opinion. Here's your host, Brad Allard.
Well, a beautiful morning this morning because we needed the rain.
Oh, we sure did.
Yes, I have Kim Jones here, and she has a lot to tell us. In fact, some breaking news from the JCAD, which we'll talk about at the end because that's the way you do it. You keep the viewers and listeners hanging on to the end. But anyway, we needed it. Boy, howdy, my backyard dry as a bone. Mm-hmm. And so it was really good to have a nice steady rain and whatnot. How about you, Josh? What's going on in Josh world these days?
Not much.
Really?
Just loving the rain myself.
Yeah, you're good.
What can I say?
Yeah. My garden needs it, and I've had a pretty good garden this year. So maybe we'll keep producing, who knows. But we're going to talk about some of the issues that have risen just recently about evaluations and some insights and whatnot. Ms. Jones has a great deal of expertise in this area. That's the best word I could think of. And so we'll, get an education, which is always good. But we also need to pay for the bills. So let's talk about the sponsors. As always, first of all, at our place, of course. I was there this morning with my guys from Sunday school, and we talked about some of this very thing. And it wasn't because I said, hey, I got this person on the show. It came up kind of on its own about property taxes and evaluations and whatnot. A couple of comments about, wow, what's the deal with all these evaluations and all this other stuff. And one of my friends is in real estate, so he has a kind of an insight of what's going on. But it's a good place to have those conversations because they don't bug you, and the service is good, and your coffee cup doesn't get empty and whatnot. So it's a good place to go. I always find it free. I'm looking at your Buc-ee's cup. All right. About 3 weeks ago, did you get that Buc-ee's down in Ennis or Hillsboro or Denton?
No, Denton.
Denton, yeah. Well, we were at the Ennis one, and we ran into a bunch of fans from the Czech soccer team, football, whatever. And, their English wasn't that great. But they were traveling to the next game, I guess. And I'm telling you, they walked in, and I saw their faces, and they're like, holy cow, this is a gas station? It's bigger than their supermarkets.
Gas station meets Walmart, and they have a baby.
Yeah, that's right. And it's like, and they were, they were impressed. But anyway, thank you to Otto, since he's paying for this bill. But also Gina's Pizza, which is always great. I've gone there about 3 times in the last 6 weeks, and it's always a great pizza, always a great experience. I went and watched one of the soccer matches, which is interesting, is a young lady at the checkout counter, I guess, at the cash register at our place is from Argentina, and she had her Lionel Messi shirt on and all this other stuff. And then I saw her last week at Gina's Pizza because they a lot of the waiters and wait staff interchange between those two restaurants, and we got to talk about Lionel Messi and all this other stuff. You keeping up with the soccer, Josh?
Where I can, yeah. Not the most fluent in soccer myself.
Well, neither am I, but I'm learning. And but anyway, but Gina's a good place to go watch tomorrow. Not Wednesday's match. I guess would be better because it'll be open about the same time the match begins. All right, Gina's Pizza, as we know, it's all great. And also, Old Pro Roofing. Now I'm glad I had John check out my roof. I mean, we didn't have like a tremendous storm, but I didn't have to worry about it because he came about, it was roughly a month ago, 5 weeks ago, and checked my roof out, and it was good to go. 817-734-2756, and he'll tell you that the best defense against having to deal with insurance and whatever else is keeping up with the quality of your roof. And because if it's possible, the insurance companies will tell you that it's old damage. And so, and you're not going to know that unless you have an annual inspection to show that, this damage was caused between your last inspection and to date. So there you go, 817-734-2756. Also, Jeff Kelly at the Wethington Agency. I went into his office, a little B&I business and sponsor care, I guess. And this guy really does work hard at his job. I mean, a lot of people think real estate just sells itself or something. It's
No way.
It's a hassle. But he has several properties that are under contract, which tells me, and he just not only hustles, but he also is effective. And do you know Jeff by any chance?
No, we haven't.
All right. Well, you'd be a good guy to know because he's very personable and easygoing, and he has these joke of the day routine and everything else. and you're going to need some jokes. The Scott's family, Larry Scott and Sherry Scott, says hello.
Hello.
Do you know those ladies and gentlemen, do you?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
oh,
I thought
yes.
you did.
They kind of actually introduced me to you.
They
actually.
did. They did. And Larry does a really good job, and Sherry does a great job with those blessing boxes, hers. I'd still like to have her on the show, but she's too camera shy. I know. It's silly. But anyway, in fact, I'm going to share one, Oak Valley, which he also is the monitor of or administrator of on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you, Jeff, for letting me say all that during your time. That's no problem. Also, Burleson News Express. There's probably one in my box right now. I'm a subscriber, and it's good local issues. I hope you all have made a connection. Now, it's hard sometimes, to make connections between yourself with your schedule. Certainly,
You know what?
Mm-hmm.
I have fortunately been so blessed to be so swamped right now. But there's plenty of time. It doesn't matter because this is a year-round thing.
Right, and Rod's fine with that, but he is good guy to know because he's not into throwing bombs and controversial takes or anything like that. He just wants to present the news like the old-fashioned way of doing it. So,
well, it's easier to take a call than make a call. So.
Yeah, that's true. I'll tell him get off his can. No, he works pretty hard at this.
Sure.
So. Burleson News Express. Go get you a copy. About 54 different locations in Burleson. I get mine at Daydream Coffee. Also, True Climate. Heating and Cooling, 682-244-2019.
We've really needed that lately with all this heat.
Well, and this is my own plug for True Climate, is that, first of all, they came out and inspected my air conditioner about 2 months ago, and I hooked up with them with a $99 a year kind of warranty thing, and they would entitle me to inspections at a discounted rate and repairs at a discounted rate and all this other business. But a week ago Friday, somebody who's been a participant on the show before called me or texted me and said, hey, my air conditioner went out. What's the number of that True Climate? And I connected them up. True Climate got a big job out of it. That's the value of advertising. Are you listening to me out there in the vast listening audience? Josh would agree. There we go. Also, thank you for all that y'all do for the community guys, because they're all these. What makes it easy to promote them is they're community people. At the end of the show, I got a couple of nonprofits to talk about, but we'll talk about your issues, your situations. Where do you want to start off, Kim?
Well, actually, I'd like to give a little report about Property Tax Justice Foundation.
Be my guest. We still have that logo, do we not?
This one?
Yeah, that's good.
There we go.
All right.
Okay, I got a little boo-boo. Because it's not yet a 501c3 nonprofit. It's a nonprofit with the Secretary of State, but we haven't gone through the full extensive IRS process that takes about 6 months. But it is a nonprofit, and we do operate on a sliding scale. And I'm going to have the privilege of representing a lot of financially vulnerable folks for absolutely not one penny.
Really? The scholarships, I think, is what you called them last time that we had you on the show.
Yes. We're kind of moving away from that a little bit because it sounds like school.
Well, when I first saw it, I thought you're giving away a scholarship, and but I knew what you were talking about. But I bet some people saw it and thought, I need some money for my kids' college, right? That kind of thing, yeah.
Well, what I'm calling it is the Homeowners Justice Fund.
Okay.
Folks who are financially vulnerable, senior citizens, people with disabilities, veterans that, are not doing well. It is a self-reporting kind of thing. I ask if you have any financial challenges. You don't have to prove anything. Or if I just get a sense in our conversation that things aren't going well, I will offer it up. But it's every person who trusts Property Tax Justice Foundation to trust us to represent them, and the fees that they pay allow us to provide this free service to folks.
And they had the phone number there, 817-330-9477. Also, your email, kgj@propertytaxjusticefoundation.com. That's a mouthful.
I think I might go ahead and buy ptjf.com.
Yeah. Yes, that could do it,
But please follow us on Facebook, propertytaxjusticefoundation.com.
Do you know how many followers you have off the top of your head?
368, something like that.
You need more than that.
Well, but we're growing organically.
It took me, I'm in my 7th year, will be soon. So, and God knows how many people heard me my first year or so. It just takes time.
I'm not worried about quantity. I'm concerned with quality. And so
I'll take quantity.
That's okay. That's okay. But let me tell you, I spoke about my force multiplier concept with protesting when neighbors get together. I have to give a shout out to Russell Wells. Russell, you are the bomb.
The bomb diggity.
Out of Huntsville, Texas. The Texas Great Ranch development has been beleaguered by hospital district water problems and now appraisal problems. So I told him about my concept, and I think we're probably up to about 20 properties from one community.
You said Walker County before.
Yes, sir.
See, that it didn't really surprise me, but that's not the first thing I think of, and I think a lot of people think you're more just local, Johnson County, because that's your area, and that's who
sure.
you deal with. You deal with
I've got
CAD
like
more than them, but
50 protests there, but they're all individual all over the place. But I've been contacted by Kaufman County, Collin, Bosque, Brazoria, Lee, a bunch of them. But the main thing is that no matter what your situation, Property Tax Justice Foundation wants to be here and be able to help you.
Well, you really just started this like 2.5 months ago, roughly, right?
For sure.
And so you've had extraordinary growth.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, this is God's business. You know, I feel like he put me in the place on the ARB last year for me to get the training and education and then to learn about the inefficiencies of the process. And for so many people, this is an intimidating situation. And I get that. And it goes so fast. You're like, huh? Oh, it was finished and you didn't even know what you said.
That's by intent, isn't it? They're trying to bamboozle, I think, some of the homeowners a little bit. And that's where you come in because you understand the language. If I went and did this by myself, I'd either have to educate myself or just hold on for dear life and hope I don't get hosed. But that's not a really good strategy, no.
Well, I will tell you, here in Johnson County, you're going to get a more fair hearing than what I've heard across the state. I'm not naming any particular names, but some people are like downright lawless. When I'm asking for evidence, and I'm not just saying, give me the evidence you're going to use in the hearing, I'm delineating specific things that I want, and they're just giving me the same old garbage they give everybody.
Well, you know, last time you were here, you outlined the steps. You know, we had the slide and we went through the steps. And so people at one particular step think the process is done, and you're saying, no, you still got more options left. You know, it's not exactly like after 10 minutes, the decision's made and you better just have to live with it. No, you were very clear that there are still some options left.
You can go on to arbitration, and if the ARB broke a specific rule in the tax code, then you are allowed to file what's called a limited binding arbitration based on rules broken. 2 different processes.
But you know, use the words rules broken. There's no liability associated with that on the part of the rule breaker?
Absolutely none. The ARB is protected because they're part of a quasi-governmental body, and the appraiser themselves is protected from, you know, action directly.
Well, I can understand a mistake being made, but if it's done with intent.
You know what? I agree with you. And I think what we need to do, if our legislature would have the guts, I mean, because the whole thing, the price of justice is too high. When you don't win in your ARB case, you have to pony up $500. Now, part of that keeps frivolous cases from being brought forward, so I understand that. But I wish there was a process in the middle, because every hearing is recorded. And if some neutral party were to listen and say, oh, Texas property tax code, blah, 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 was not complied with here, then that would get rid of a lot of stuff, because appraisers can override the law if they so choose. all they have to do is just give you the idea that that's not really applicable. It's called baffle with cow patties.
Yeah, we know. Yeah.
Okay.
If you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with BS.
Yes.
Yeah.
And on the part of the ARB, I will say this until I die.
Until you die.
They are not properly trained through no fault of their own, partially. They do have that comptroller's procedure book. And if part of the reason they don't know things is because they've heard it, they've taken it in once, but then they're relying on the word of mouth training they've received. But if they were to dig into it like I did, they would learn that a lot of the things that they're doing are not correct. So ignorance of the law does not make you innocent.
No, but I'd hate to say, if I was sitting in that position and I made a mistake and now I'm legally liable, you'd get no one to serve.
Well, but they are protected, so that's not the problem. It's more the appraisers on behalf of the CAD. Okay, because they direct the ARB. The ARB has so little training, whatever they don't understand, they look at the appraiser. What should we do? What should we do? Okay, it may not be as overt as that, but they sit in there hearing after hearing after hearing, and they get that person's very knowledgeable, and they tend to lean on what they say.
Right.
And feel like, well, maybe the taxpayer doesn't necessarily understand. But I don't want to paint that picture on every ARB member.
Okay.
I want to say that right straight up. I'm talking in complete generalities. Okay? But some are downright criminal. Okay, so.
But you say Johnson County really isn't guilty of that. They may be.
Not criminality.
Criminality, right.
Not criminality.
Okay. But
They're grossly undertrained.
Right.
And you know what? It's so funny because I try to listen, pay attention, remember, put things together. And so last year I fought like crazy to get more training and education. And the board of directors was trying to tell us what we could get and what we couldn't get. And that is 100% not in their wheelhouse. Page 41 of their manual says they have nothing to do with ARB training. So this year, I asked about a line item from the budget last year. They gave $29,000 for ARB training over and above what we received last year. 12 hours comptroller training, a few hours with our ARB attorney. This year, they got 4 hours with a fee appraiser. I said, that couldn't be more than $1,000. Where's the other $28,000? And one of the board of directors very smugly says, but Miss Jones, okay, this may not be a quote. I'm just so mad.
All right.
Miss Jones, the ARB is an autonomous entity. They can do what they want. But how come last year, when I knew we were supposed to be autonomous, you're trying to force down our throat what we're going to get and how we're going to get it?
They picked the wrong person to irritate, I have a feeling.
Yes.
It's, once you get on the scrap, they better be ready to play.
Yes. And I will say, I was very proud of myself at this past month's board meeting. I had nothing but praises for our chief appraiser, Mitch Fast, and our staff, because those poor folks are certainly beleaguered under this current situation we're in. But on July 7th, there was a fantastic meeting. The board of directors did ask for a workshop where Mitch was to explain the appraisal system, the mass appraisal system. And he's a very smart man, very knowledgeable man. We got a doctorate thesis on the appraisal process. And I walked out of there with my head swimming. But he opened up for questions in numerous places, and I don't think anybody left without at least being able to ask one question if they so chose. And what they left with was a feeling that, oh, there's not really somebody out there trying to get me. The chief appraiser is not trying to jack up my values to get more money for the comptroller. Because I've spoken to Mitch face to face, and he says he wants his appraisers to build a fair case, let the homeowners and taxpayers present their case, and whichever way the ARB goes, that's to be it. Because It has been in some Johnson County hearings where inappropriate things have been said, like if you can't afford your taxes, you might want to get a second job. Or when my son,
nice.
yeah, when my son was trying to communicate for an informal with an appraiser, as long as you have no information, they love to do an informal with you because they've got all the data and resources, and you're looking in the air. You don't know anything. They just throw out a number, and if you're like, oh, well, a few thousand's better than nothing. Okay, I'll take it. Because they don't want to go to the ARB. It's intimidating. But my son was like, okay, I'd like to see your evidence. Oh, all right, we're done. You can go ahead and go on the portal and communicate with an appraiser on there or go ahead to your ARB hearing. But guess what? I called the CAD because when I hear something, I want to go straight to the source and get the truth. It just so happens that the portal does not allow communication between the taxpayer and the appraiser. So she just wanted to pass him off. But when I told Mitch some of what happened, he wanted to see an email where the appraiser wanted to ask for... No, I'm sorry. The appraiser wanted the protester to do a freedom of information request for his own property.
Well, Sherry Scott here is seconding your opinion on Mitch, whom I've never met.
Well, you got to come out to a CAD meeting, dear.
Well, I've been real busy.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I got so many, all these people calling me said, they want to be on the show. I don't know. Kidding.
Baloney.
You think so? Okay. Well, in the summertime, you do have to kind of scramble a little bit more.
No, he's a great guy. He's very educated. We're so fortunate to have him because he's just fair. Now, he's an appraiser. He said some appraisery things, some things slanted.
That's an interesting word, yeah.
Well,
appraisery.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll leave this one really great thing for the next time you have me on because, like I said, this is a never-ending cycle. But I must say that meeting was phenomenal. Like I said, 80 to 100 people. We're lucky to get 20 to a CAD meeting. And then the CAD meeting right after, oh, that was silly. There were maybe 10 people because everybody was spent from just 2 nights ago.
Well, physically, where's the meeting place? I don't know if I
at the Cleburne Conference Center.
Okay. And is it a permanent or just a temporary thing where they're
Well, it's permanently temporary because they, at one point, they were meeting at the CAD office, but that place is not ADA compliant and they didn't have the space. And then I noticed on 1 month's minutes, they were at some Bethel church. But once they started renting a space at the Cleburne Conference Center, it's just been there every month.
Yeah. Is that working okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It works just fine.
All right.
But you know what? Maybe I will just go ahead.
Okay.
Josh?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The last email that I sent you,
Gotcha.
I don't want you to show anything prematurely, so let me...
Is this the big announcement?
Let's go with this one.
Yes.
This is the big announcement. Well.
Okay.
Or the other one.
Well, this is... Okay.
You got Joe Paterno there or what?
I don't know.
You know who Joe Paterno is?
No.
He
He's a sports something.
Oh, my goodness. He used to be a football coach at Penn State.
See?
All right. Yeah. Many years ago. Controversial ending. Blah, blah, blah.
Well, ever since I came and became aware, the board of directors has been talking about new facilities. And they darn well should because our building is a health hazard. I've mentioned it before. Lead, asbestos, old smoke. The hall, there's one hall only one person can get by. So there's a committee on the board of directors that obviously has to be smaller than a quorum. And they've gone out searching high and low for existing buildings we could make use of for our appraisal district. Okay, they're looking for every option. Search continues. No stone left unturned. They are doing everything they can. And it is required by appraisal district rules that they do so. Because if you can find something that's existing, it's certainly going to be the path of least resistance, and it's going to be. You can leave that up there.
But for those who missed it, they're searching high and low for existing buildings we could make use for a new appraisal district building. Okay, because somebody may not have caught all that. They see all this, and they're looking for whatever they're looking for. But what you're talking about here is a new location.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because our facilities are very cramped. It's not very hospitable for taxpayers when they come in or homeowners when they're at an ARB hearing. Originally, you were standing half out in the hall and half in the room.
Right.
They have reconfigured some of those rooms now so that everybody can sit around a U-shaped table, so everybody feels like they're on the same playing field. There are some things that the comptroller meant for uniformity for everybody. There should be one screen that everybody is looking at. We have individual screens for every ARB member, as well as, of course, the appraiser should be the one running the evidence because they have their evidence, and then the homeowner brings their evidence.
Does this appraisal building or meeting room, whatever, have to be in the county seat, or is that just for convenience sake?
I don't know on that one.
All right.
I mean, it's right near the tax assessor's office.
Well, I guess it would be convenient.
The tax collector's office.
I guess what you're telling us, so they're going to have a new facility or a new space.
A new
space.
I don't know. No.
No, wrong one?
No, don't. I didn't ask for a new slide at all.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, you can go back to the steps. Okay, big plans require big. Oh no.
You talk about the steps of. I'm confused, Kim. Do you?
Okay, let me and
all right.
I'll keep you straight.
Okay.
So we've looked for existing properties. Okay. Found some, weren't good enough. We take so long doing stuff, they were no longer available. So now the idea is to find property and build.
Okay.
Okay. So we had 3 presentations on Thursday night by 3 different companies. And I think the concept was that they were 3 different companies all basically providing the same service, but actually they were different services. So we weren't comparing apples to apples. And what we learned through this whole thing is we're looking at approximately 20,000 square feet. We're currently 12,000 square feet. Okay, the consultants were talking about, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Well, gee, don't we have an eliminate property tax movement going on? Isn't there a possibility that, let's say, in the next 5 years, that property taxes could be gone? Now, I will say 5 more years of health concerns, I'd be more concerned about the people working there every day than just the people that come in for protests. But these companies have done big major projects for municipalities like Frisco and Plano and
my hometown area.
There we go. There we go. Got to put a plug in for that.
Well, it's not the same town I grew up in, but that's fine.
Right. And one gentleman just kind of shot out a number. It was on the screen, but when I went to take a picture, it had disappeared, where his just study portion was going to be about $80,000 to $100,000. So all that gets you is advice, and they come in and do a study. They study the current building. Now the board said, forget that. This building is trash. Don't worry about that part. But we do need to talk to the people working in it so you know what's the best flow, because the more modern we get, the more technological and the more money everything costs. So we're getting down to the nitty gritty, who should work near who for the best flow, the best energy. And then they can put together a floor plan. Now, they have a lot of history, so they're not doing it from scratch. They have other buildings that have same kind of thing going on. So they can put together a floor plan, and you tell them what you need. They're going to give you the restrooms and the mechanicals, and then they'll also figure out what you need for parking. So they help you find land that this facility will fit on. But what you get are all of those steps and the land selection and the floor plan, but no cost projections.
Okay, I'm going to
Go ahead.
ask a question here. This new building, here on your slide, it says projected cost about 10 plus million.
What that came from is one of the gentlemen said that the cost would be between $500 and $750 per square foot. So based on 22,000 square feet.
Sure. Where would this be financed from? Where are the revenues for that to build this come from?
I believe they want to do a presentation and sell it to the community so that taxpayers and or entities would be willing to give the money for such. But considering how we've been on our school bonds and whatnot, I don't see that really flying. And I feel like, okay, they've been talking about it in board meetings. Nobody attends these board meetings. So people don't know what the plan is. They don't know what's coming down the pike. And then when they say, okay, we're going to have a public hearing and we're going to bring this presentation out, people will still not pay attention and they'll be able to try to pass it along without people really knowing. That's why I came to you, Brad, because you have your finger on the pulse of the community and people listen to your program, and this is what will get people to know what is happening.
Well, I got to give you some credit for that because you share this quite a bit, and I appreciate that. As far as the building itself, I get the impression what your opinion is, but I want you to be able to say your opinion without an impression. Do you think this building is necessary?
Not a brand new building.
Okay. So if they bought an existing one or leased one?
It would be much less.
So they're that's kind of where I would be heading because I know of some space right now in Burleson that could be used.
We're trying to drink champagne on a beer budget.
Oh, wow.
When I was in elementary school 100 years ago.
No.
When the school got too big, we got very nice portable buildings, and you had to walk outside down a little path to get to your building. Here, now granted, the schools are old or whatever, and I'm talking mostly in Cleburne. That's my greatest knowledge base. They're trying to pass this brand new school thing. Renovations are needed. Well, we're paying for deferred maintenance, improper use of funds for many, many years. And then all of a sudden they want to build these new schools.
Well, as far as like how they would fund it and whatever else, I'm assuming from public funding.
Yep.
You mentioned a point I think it went in passing, and I'd like to get to Irma's question in a minute because it's related to it, but it's really it's not exactly what it would segue to something else. So maybe we can talk about that. I haven't forgotten Irma, why not? But as far as
I'm sorry, you can do those birth pictures.
Birth pictures now
because it was just so cute. Just the one.
All right.
We're expecting a new arrival. Estimated arrival sometime, maybe. We're not exactly sure of the gestation period.
It sounds like the way you described it, there is a need for a facility. But you're saying, if I'm incorrect, I'm sure you'll correct me. We don't have to build new because the possibility will be in 5 years. This whole process will be so dramatically different if it exists at all. Okay. That investment of $10 million in a building, you'd end up selling it or not using it or whatever, and it'd be just another space. When it comes like bond issues and things like that, people call me like that's one of the few things that call me liberal on because I am, when these school bonds I usually support for various reasons. Maybe it's my old profession talking, but as far as this facility, I'm kind of where you're at on this. I don't have a real problem with a publicly financed building. My problem would be is it's based on a system that may be so dramatically different soon that it might be a wasted expense.
Maybe not 5 years, maybe 10. But come on, 10 million plus for 10 years.
It will be the issue next September or next spring rather in the next session. Like vouchers were. Now, if you don't mind, Irma has it's a little bit of a deviated a little bit, but it is pertinent to what you do and what you're talking about. First one is what is your group's ultimate desired outcome And how would you impact our funding for schools? I believe she's talking about the elimination of property taxes, if I read her
Well,
correctly.
Armand, that I know nothing about, my dear.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many people talking about eliminating property taxes, and everybody's got a different thought as to how that should happen.
Well,
Now, my thing is, a lot of people have worked from home, but
okay. Well, let me read the question
okay.
for those who hear it.
Sure.
Irma's next question is, can they not work from home if they are not taxpayer facing, so they can use a smaller building for the taxpayer facing roles?
Well, we're dealing with very sensitive information, so no, I don't think that's going to work.
Okay. Just to kind of reiterate the point, though, you and I have talked off the air about property taxes and elimination, and then you have your opinions, but that's not really what your justice project
I
is
am
about.
trying to help people deal with the system of the appraisal and protest system that is so convoluted and so difficult to understand. That's what the Property Tax Justice Foundation is about. We don't have a position because we're not legislative oriented. We don't have a position about property tax in general, though we would be thrilled if our service was no longer needed.
That's what would happen,
Then
right?
I could go on to a different subject matter
Oh, okay.
to look out for and defend.
Right.
But it's the homeowners and the taxpayers that are inundated by this system, don't understand it, feel it very intimidating, and these are the folks that we want to help.
Well, see, I've had this conversation with other people that when I said, "Oh, well, Kim Jones will be on," or this is her organization, they tie it to a political lobby type activity, trying to get rid of property taxes. And I've had to tell people, no, that's not really what it's
Nope.
about. I mean, she has her opinions, but that's about it. It's not. That's not the purpose.
I'm a
of
human being.
Yeah, right. It's not. This is not the purpose of it.
I've had some other negative comments.
Really.
Yes, because some people would like to say that I'm the same as Paul Betancourt and his multi-million-dollar tax protest company,
Yeah.
or the other big names out there. It's like, get a clue, watch my videos, see my page, listen to me, and you tell me that I'm the same as the big name companies who do mass negotiations. I put my heart and soul into everything that I do.
Oh, that is true. I've known you now about 2 months, and I can tell that you're a person that once they get on some sort of topic that's important to them, you grip it with both hands, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I won't be perfect. I will make mistakes, I promise you. I will try to limit those, or what I will do is I will learn from those, okay? Because nobody can be perfect. But what I tell people, with my experience and my knowledge, you could be given the best information, but it's not just the presentation, it is the rebuttal. And when it comes to the intimidation factor, I have to say, guess what? That happened to me today. I got intimidated. Everything went so fast. People were talking fast. Anytime I used a particular word, somebody grabbed onto it. And it didn't go as well as it could have, for sure. And so, but I tell you, that will never happen again.
Well,
And
this wasn't your first one, though, but you haven't gone through a lot of these yet. have
no,
you?
this was my very first one.
Oh, was. I thought you had
in
done
this
a couple
position.
already.
No,
Okay, well, it's a learning curve.
right. But let me tell you, it only happens once. Because I dig and dig and dig, because I take it personally for each person. And what I did is I refunded that person's deposit.
Okay. Well,
I mean, that's how strongly I felt about it.
go ahead.
But there's never any guarantees,
I know. of
because
course.
we have to deal with the ARB, and basically, it just kind of got bowled over because they wanted to lean with the district.
The thing is, though, if I could
Yeah.
summarize or put words in your mouth, if I may, that you're not really looking to eliminate the property tax, but you're looking to perfect it
can't.
more, or perfect the system enough that the property tax and evaluation isn't a burden on people.
It's the protest system that I'm working on, because I can't affect the appraisal system. I mean, you know what, Brad? The legislature has made it so that this is really all smoke and mirrors because you cannot touch your assessed value. You can only protest appraised value, market value. But it's the assessed value that is the key.
But if you win enough of these cases, don't you think there would be enough feedback for Austin to maybe this process isn't working for us?
No. Because, oh my gosh, I'm the smallest amoeba in the primordial ooze.
You're not Paul Betancourt?
No. But why would they want to get rid of it when his company's making millions off of it? No, it's not going anywhere because there's too many powerful people. But I have been likened to those sort of organizations because I'm feeding off the communism or socialism. It depends on, what your perspective is in this terrible system. People like to just bellyache about how it should be illegal, but that's not the point.
Well, if you needed an expert on communism or socialism, Josh, we have right over here.
Hold the phone.
Larry has a point. The value in the current location is the land. Abate the asbestos, demo the building, rebuild, save millions.
Well, they already have a buyer for it. And it's a buyer that, okay, this is not confirmed by fact. I haven't looked up the records, but from what I've heard. So you're getting my preemptory disclaimer. But what I understand is there is a developer that has purchased the Dr. Dang building over on Henderson and would like to buy the CAD building and other subsequent properties to make a live, work, play kind of development where on the first floor would be restaurants and amenities, open things like kind of like in the Burleson Square thing. And then you could have entertainment, and then there would be apartment buildings above. But if I remember correctly, at the mayor's forum, both Derek and Blake were against any high-rise development in downtown Cleburne. Derek specifically, I remember, said that anything high-rise would be out towards the 67 corridor. Now, I don't know how many stories this proposed thing is, and I kind of wonder, okay, if you're not paying attention in the Cleburne City Council meeting, it sounds like the first piece has already been purchased, and there's a plan, and if we're not listening and we're not watching and things get passed by, then we'll look back and say, oh, I coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Do we know the identity of this developer?
I'm not 100% on my facts, so no, I wouldn't even venture. Even if I'd heard, I wouldn't venture until I had gotten the open records.
We see the sign.
No, I would get the open records and I would investigate because I'm going to tell you if I don't know for sure.
Well, by the way, Josh, Irma is defending you, calling you voice of the youth.
Hey, thank you, Irma.
Anyway.
Okay, so
back to the
I
matter.
see we have. Okay, at this meeting. Okay, go ahead with the. Oh no, you already did.
Well, you can put it back up, whatever you want.
Yeah, we got out of order, but oh well. I'm flexible. I keep my knees bent.
Okay.
Which one?
The second birth announcement thingy. I think
This one?
we probably saw it. Oh, here we go. Yeah, surprise! It's a new JCAD building. One story, designed for efficiency and service, approximately 20,000 square feet. That's what they were talking about. It's not a definite. And the 10 million estimate is based on that $500 to $750 a square foot that costs for a municipal building. Okay, so we can't wait to meet it. It's okay as long as the citizens are aware. Now, if the citizens are aware and they want it, but hello, this is something they wish didn't exist in the first place. So do you really think of all the tax money they pay? Do you think the entities and all the money that they fund, do you think people really want a new building? They want that much money invested when our roads are not properly taken care of. I mean, let's get basic, people.
We kind of loop back on something. You said it's possible that the property tax won't be around in 5 years, and so that kind of gives us pause before a $10 million investment or $10 million. That's the initial investment.
Potential.
And the thing about it is anybody that's ever built anything like a new home or whatever else knows, oh, you wanted doorknobs.
Overages.
Yeah. Have had that. Yeah, I remember when we built our house, it was like, oh, you wanted concrete and, whatever. No, I shouldn't do that because my builder at the time was very reputable. But anyway, the point is that I may be more, I don't know if pessimistic or optimistic or whatever phrase you want to use. I have a feeling it's more likely than not that property values will be such a minor revenue stream, if not eliminated entirely within the next 2 or 3 sessions, that some of this we're talking about here may not really be much of an impact. I think that what they're going to do is start shifting more to consumer-based taxes and less on property taxes. Mm-hmm. And you look at Texas politics, I don't know if this is the way it was back in home in Maryland, but, we don't have any campaign contribution limits. And so these guys in West Texas who are very adamant about getting rid of property taxes, they can write a check to Greg Abbott for $5 million and it's nothing illegal about it.
But they've been doing this for over a decade. Why didn't they write it 10 years ago?
Because you had, with Texas in particular, since we have the shortest sessions in the union. I mean, and only every other year.
What year did Texas become a state?
1845, technically, but we finally got the starting to flag the next year.
Okay, this is not 1846 anymore, people. Mm-hmm. It doesn't take days to go across the plains to get to Austin. It is so ineffectual to have every 2 years a session. I don't know of another state that does.
There isn't one. Well, there's a couple that do it, but they do it for longer periods of time.
Okay.
Ours is 140 days, and that's it. I mean, 140 days, not 141. And if we want to go past that, we have to have special sessions.
And then Abbott had the ability to call a special session. Mm-hmm. Brian Harrison is one of the biggest proponents out there calling for special session, and he had some but did not effectively do anything about property taxes because he wanted to hold it out as a carrot to go ahead and say vote for me, because I've already had a dozen years and I didn't do anything other than increase exemptions. So that's a bunch of baloney. But anyway.
Well, what do you really think, Kim? I mean, don't hold back, all right? Yeah, let her rip.
No, I'm telling you, it just infuriates me. Don't just flap your lips. Do things. That's why I hate politics, because people tell you what they want you to hear. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you like I believe.
Well, here's the thing. Vouchers didn't just arrive in the last session. They've been talking about that for about a decade. And the opposition to vouchers wasn't, some philosophical reason on the Democrat side. Is a lot of the Republicans that represent small towns didn't want this to happen. But what happened was big money got involved, and they knocked off Dwayne Burns, and they knocked off a few others to get it passed. And see, that's what I think will happen here, is that sooner or later the big money will get the legislature they want. I mean, we have about 5 or 6 oil guys out in West Texas that fund millions and millions of dollars.
Well, then pony up, guys, now. Josh, okay. You guys in West Texas, pony up that money now so that in January of 27, we get this sucker out.
Irma, I can't tell you how much I disagree with that statement you just made. We can thank Mayor Mamdani, for better or worse, for showing how quickly government can work. Not making progress is a choice. I have no... Okay, that's a world I'm not familiar with, in which New York is actually working, but that's why we have the show. Express opinions. Irma, thank you for doing it, even though, oh my God, your government teacher in high school must have been a knucklehead. That was me, actually.
Oh. But I'm... Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I'm so serious. This is so much baloney. People are talking out of one side, and they got their hand out here. This school voucher thing, as soon as the school voucher thing got passed, that's how I knew property taxes weren't going anywhere, because they just formed a whole nother layer of government. And there was no definition of how it was going to work. I mean, how do you pass legislation that doesn't have a plan and to know where every I is dotted, every T is crossed, where the money's going, how it's coming from, how it's going to be disseminated? That was crazy. So now we've got loss of students in schools. We have daycares getting voucher money. We have all kinds of things. It's gone kaflooey. And a lot of homeschoolers don't necessarily want vouchers because they don't eventually want the governor to have anything to do with what they're doing. That's the whole purpose of homeschooling. They don't want the government dictating what they're supposed to do. So anyway, back to the CAD. We bought this new software last year. For some reason,
you got about 10 minutes.
yeah, I just want to keep time, so I don't want to lose it.
All right.
Now, you know what? I've got to dispel some things because I was so good. I was just complimentary at this month's meeting, and I got really upset when I heard some baloney going on. But we have this one director who keeps saying that we got this new program in 2018, so it was before the current board came on board. But I didn't hear anybody complaining about it until we got the GSA program. And I was there the month that they had it on the agenda, and we got the big explanation and demonstration, and then they approved it. And then it was just before protest season, and our directors over there, the supervisors at the CAD, were supposed to get 6 weeks of training so it could be implemented for last year's protest season. And immediately, Josh, we have something that shows 2 different languages. There we go.
All right.
The GSA program speaks one language, but the tax collectors speaks another. So immediately they weren't able to use it. And we have been working, I say we, our CAD department, has been working on it ever since then to try to get it fixed. The one with a lot of greenbacks going back and forth, Josh?
Ooh, 2 seconds.
It's going to look good. Anyway,
This one?
no, there's one. No.
Okay, that's still the communication failure. There we go. Thousands of dollars each month. Mitch is really amazing. He's very technologically oriented, but they're spending so much time. Okay, the one where the workers look real beleaguered. There's a bunch of workers looking beleaguered. These people are spending so much time double entering because you can't let go of the old system and you got to start uploading in the new system. Here we go. This is a bad first date. As soon as they tried implementing anything, nothing. Different language, no communication, wrong data. And this is nothing that you can point the finger at anybody. All I can say at this point, because time is brief, I get the feeling that fingers are pointing to the appraiser to put him under the bus. We failed the property value study for 8 out of 10 school districts. It got brought out after he got here, but it was done before he arrived. So, like I said, this is just my impression. I'm not quoting anything. I could be wrong, but I really get the feeling that there were more than one finger trying to say, all responsibility does fall up to the chief appraiser, that's for sure. And he's accepted that. But it happened before he was on the watch. So this system, it is a CAMA system, computer-assisted mass appraisal system. When it's working properly, half of the properties will be higher value than they should, and half will be lower. That's how it works. But ours is throwing out such huge disparity, and that's part of all of this software issue. So there's nobody saying, Brad Allard, he's very opinionated. I think I'm going to make his property go way up. This is so anonymous, okay? So there's no targeting anybody. It's just very, very neutral across the board.
Well, I appreciate the fact that you're not implying or imposing or imputing other motives. Your problem has been with the process. Your problem has been with the, what you've been describing here, not so much with the, moral intent of the people involved.
There's no moral intent behind this machine.
Yeah, and this is what's bothering you because it's not working to be very effective. It is working to be very expensive, but it's not effective.
And at some point, and I brought this up, may it not be time to take it out behind the barn and shoot it? There are 6 total counties that went with this, and there's 2 others that are in agreement with us that this just is not working. And there's no perfect system. They're all going to have problems. I mean, and so the impression that I got was talking about 2018, that's where the system came in. But no, the majority of the people on this board were part of the decision to buy this. But guess what? You can't necessarily know. But did they check with enough CADs around the state? Okay, because if you don't make a wide survey to see how many people are using it and like it, how many people are using something else and liking it, if your sample is too small, then you didn't do enough due diligence.
Well, you probably see me texting a little bit, and I just a couple people have texted me about is your operation ever going to be political in a sense, going to be in a lobby group?
Yeah. It can't be.
And that's what I was going to try to let you
Absolutely
address.
Cannot
that.
be.
Are you going to go
These
to
are my
Austin?
personal opinions.
Yeah, right.
Oh, well, no. When protest season is over, no, honey, we actually going to move over to the Property Tax Justice Alliance.
Okay.
And that will be a political entity.
Well, I just didn't want to derail you because I know what the answer was. I just want you to be able to answer. You don't really have any intention to be a full-time lobbyist or anything like that.
No, not full-time. No. The point is I want to help educate people because there's just too many people with mistaken ideas and, blaming, finger pointing at, somebody's targeting me. I want people to understand the way the system is and get the legislature to change the things that can be changed so that we have a sense of fairness about these valuations and how to fight them.
Right.
Because a lot of the laws say may, can.
Yeah.
They don't say shall and must.
Right.
It gives too much latitude. And trust me, guess what? An appraisal is one person's opinion at a moment in time. You could give the same mission to 6 people and they could make different choices and come up with 6 different values. Yeah. So it's art and science.
One last text I got is that I guess I want to let you have one more opportunity. Your end goal is not to eliminate property tax.
I have no goal like that. My goal is to make it as easy and effective for people to fight their unfair valuations.
And that's the point I'll make when I promote this later, is that we're not looking to get involved in the political argument, but there's no doubt
it's
that
the process that I have
a lot of people are very, very unhappy. And on a purely inside baseball side kind of thing, your shows bring numbers because a lot of people are unhappy with this process. Now, are they also unhappy with the property tax system? Maybe, maybe not.
Oh no, that's their number one thing. It's the problem with the property tax system, period. And that's not my issue. My issue is we have to deal with it while we've got it. And what we need to do is just make this protest process fair. Basically, you have to know to ask for evidence. Okay? And like I said, some CADs I've asked for very specific evidence and they're just giving me crap.
Well, I hate to move on to something else because we're almost out of time. I want to make sure I get this point in. But at the end of the shows this summer, I've been talking about the food pantries. All right, because they need a lot of help. And I have reestablished a connection with Crowley House of Hope, and they'll be on the show in about a month.
Great.
And, the previous director retired, and the new director is from out of town. She had to be reintroduced to Mr. Allard's neighborhood, I guess. But I also have mid-August promises, and in about 2 weeks I have Harvest House, and they're all telling me the same story. It's not that they're completely out, but they have a lot of demand.
Sure.
And that's just something that goes on.
Harsh reality.
Well, something goes on in the summer because a lot of people don't have those free lunches for their kids at the schools. I mean, I know Crowley, I know Burleson, and I think Joshua does too, has like a location. They still do it, but it's one location. You have to get to it.
And it's not super well known.
No, it isn't. And it's not something you can bring, a takeaway bag with.
Right. No, you have to eat it there.
Eat it there and that kind of thing. So you got all that going on. Also, Thursday, I have Summer and Megan from Next Step. I really enjoy their shows. They're having Christmas in July, and I was joking with them. Said, "Look, y'all having Christmas in July? Hallmark movie channel, which is on constant loop in my home. Christmas in July, all this other stuff. Give me a break, guys.
Oh, make sure your wife goes to see Hallmarked at the Plaza Theater.
Oh, yeah, well, I'll be sure to bring it up with her. But
I hope she listens to your show.
every now and then. She'll have it on the background when she's ignoring me there, too, so she can ignore me virtually and in person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so remember those pantries and whatnot. Irma, we have to go now. Okay. Well, I want to get you on the show. Irma, I tell you what, you need to come on the show and have your opinion made too. So anyway, so your goal is for people to pay less taxes. That funds our schools and cities. No, Irma, I'll answer this
Fair
one.
evaluation.
It's fair. It's a fair evaluation. It's not so much they don't want to pay, but you don't want to pay what you don't owe.
Right.
Come on, Irma.
Do you want to pay more than you owe?
Right. I don't want to pay more than I owe.
Irma, if you want to volunteer, the CAD could go ahead and jack your value up like crazy so you could help make up the deficit for somebody else. That's my opinion, not Brad's.
We all want less taxes, but we don't want less police and schools.
No,
nobody's
absolutely.
saying that. And
Nope.
I'm just saying if I get a tax bill and I think it's unfairly high, that's one thing. I get a tax bill that I think has been fairly assessed. I can bellyache about how much it is, but if it's fairly assessed under the law, I'll have to write the check.
You know what that reminds me of? There was a chair of a board of directors who tried to insult the intelligence of his audience by saying, well, you don't want your property values too low. When you go to sell it, you won't make much money. Nobody looks at the tax rolls to decide how much your house is worth when it comes time to sell it. And the audience wasn't buying his bunk anyway.
Well, Irma, I do appreciate your participation, even if I didn't agree with your Mandami comment. And there's also, yes, the goal is to pay less taxes. It's to pay fairly assessed taxes, not to try to cheat the government out of what they're fairly owed.
Nope, not at all.
All right, good.
Any more nonprofits?
Dayton, she's not. They don't. There's some that are coming up. Speaking of nonprofits, you might want to put this on your schedule. September 17th. It's a show we do at Gina's Pizza for all the nonprofits, and they get it.
Do we get pizza?
If you want it, but he didn't. It's not free.
Okay.
you got to make a living. But it's about 8 or 9 minutes per nonprofit. I mean, 8 or 9 minutes, Kim.
I will script it out, and as long as you don't interject, I can do that.
Yeah, no slides for that one.
We don't do a lot of slides.
I'm already bogged down enough at Gina's as is.
Yeah,
Okay, no problem.
It's
I don't want to
high
make it
wire
harder.
act.
I don't want to make it harder for you than I have to.
All right.
Yeah, that's my Super Bowl
But anyway,
for Brad.
I do appreciate Irma's comments, even if I don't agree with every one of them. But then again, that's what makes America great.
Hello.
All right. Good grief. I'm not even going to go there.
Look at the time.
Look at the time. Anyway, so again, drop by on Thursday.
Can I just say one thing?
Go ahead.
Okay. We have a certain person that if one person says something to him, many people, everybody. So last year, they talked about a half day's pay because one person didn't want to work a whole day. They only wanted to work half a day. And nobody else felt like that. Now, this same person, they've built these new rooms. And remember I said you're half in and half out last year. Excuse me. Now they have these nice spacious rooms. Now they want a door on them. No, guess what? The air conditioning does not work well in that building. Leave the door. You've got enough privacy. There's no need to be shutting anything out. Everybody's got time and space. And stop saying when one person says something that, so many people have said something. But everybody says nobody wants to pay more. Don't pay more than you owe.
Okay. Well, we got to go.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye, y'all. See you all Thursday.